Hello and welcome to this airport domain session as part of the buildingSMART International Standards Summit Valencia 2024. Thank you for joining. My name is Laura and I will be your moderator today. Today's session are titled Airport Entity Project Update and Guangdong Airport Authority BIM Exploration and Practice Intelligent Construction. The speakers for this session are shown on the screen. This session is scheduled to last 90 minutes, including time for questions at the end. The session is being recorded and will be made available in the replay section of the event as soon as possible. Before I hand over to the speakers, I would like to remind you that this is a hybrid event. For online attendee, your microphone will remain muted for the duration of this session. If you wish to make a comment or ask a question, please use the chat box in the control panel. For the attendee here in the room, please keep the background noise to a minimum, and if you wish to make a comment or ask a question, please raise your hand and use a microphone. I would like to bring to your attention that buildingSMART is committed to ensuring that participation in the development of standard is unrestricted, and the process for adoption is transparent, and standards that are developed do not favor any particular provider and are open to non-binding and accessible tool. Please take note of our antitrust code of conduct. And now I would like to hand over to the airport project team.
Welcome everyone. We have a very large audience. It's always good to see. Welcome and welcome to the Airport Entities Project and the airport domain. As you have probably heard us when we started, we, as an airport domain, as you can see, we enable airports to capitalize on the digitization of the built environment to enhance the management of assets throughout their life cycle. That means that we want to provide the information for the asset industry to work on. But as you might know, not everything is available yet. And therefore, we try to bring this information together. Later on in the presentation, we'll show you how we did that, how we do a project within the airport domain. There are a number of people in the airport domain, and I'm very happy that there are many here, because we all need you. So after the meeting, please come to us, and then we'll ask you to help us. But at this moment, you can see on the screen, there's a lot of people who are involved with it, with more or less work. There we are from all kinds of countries, so we are from left to right on the globe, but we need more people. My name is, as you can see on the Dutch one, is Gerard. That's for usually everyone a very difficult name to pronounce with a hard G, but it's also Gerard or Gerhard or whatever. And I have next to me Mike. It's my colleague from the Netherlands. We're from NACO. We are designers of airports. And we have a lot of clients. And on my left hand, for your right side, there is one of our clients, that's Schiphol. So we are both co-hosting the airport domain. That means the owner and the designer. Therefore, we can encompass everything together. There are a number of colleagues also there. Kishiba is there. It's one of our persons who's also part of the airport domain. Gianluca is here somewhere on the here as well. So you can talk to us, and if other ask some questions. Of course, Richard and Laura are here. They help us setting up and getting the airport domain further. As you can see, we are connected. We want to connect not only with us, but especially with you. Connection and collaboration, it's not coming easily. Everyone has its own silo because they have a lot of things to do and they work on their own silo, their own subject. What we need is to have the collaboration through all the silos. This morning we had a discussion with the electrical room where we talked about how can we help each other, what do we need, because an airport is like a city with a number of stakeholders, people who need things, and therefore we need to connect. We are, that's the reason why, for example, and then we start, as you can see, we try to connect with all other domains. And the next slide, you can see, this is one of the latest designs we've done at Schiphol. We have to restructure Plaza. I know you're all aware of Schiphol. And there you can see where we brought together all the domains, who owns or who gives the information about all the different entities. You can see it's the building domain, that's the overarching domain which provides the information, but there are other domains. The bluish one is, for example, the airport domain. And then we have the electrical domain, where we have discussion on this morning, the railway domain, the infrastructure domain. So what we are, our goal for this presentation, but also the stay here in Valencia, is to connect, bringing all the domains together, so in order that we can deliver the information per domain, but also in a overarching way. My colleague Mike will discuss it any further.
Thank you. Arisca, can I get the controller for this one? Yeah, Gerard talked about collaboration between domains, and I'm going to give a practical example of why this collaboration is needed. And for this, I picked one object, which is the flight information display at Schiphol Airport, which is the airport you see here, which also has below, if you go downstairs, has a railway station. So there's already a lot of interfaces there. And this flight information display, is a typical airport domain object, right? You see the arrival and departure information on the display. So it really belongs to the airport domain. But then again, maybe it doesn't belong to the airport domain, because actually a flight information display system is a electronic display. And electronic displays, they're in all buildings. We have them here, we have them everywhere. And actually the building domain, they already have put this electronic display in IFC 4.3 as a IFC audiovisual appliance. And not only that, they even have a predefined type, which is display. And this predefined type, it discloses all kinds of properties. And some of the properties, like nominal size, which is the diagonal size of a screen, or the height, we need them as airport designers. But actually we need more properties, which are not in IFC 4.3 right now. And again, just two examples. We need to determine the configuration of clustering the screens. So there you see if there are 2 rows with 3 or 4 rows with 2. And we also need to define the content type. Is it a flight information display, or maybe it's a dynamic display, or maybe it's a master antenna television system. So these are not in the IFC schema right now. And we could add them to the buildingSMART data dictionary in the airport domain. So that sounds quite easy, but then go to the next slide. You see a rail or a train information display. Probably they need the same properties. And I think this is the main reason we need collaboration between the domains.
So who do we need to achieve all of this, except for the domains here? We also need from outside of buildingSMART International, we need other airports to join. We need other asset owners to join to give input. We want more designers, engineers, and contractors to join. I mean, we have NACO here, we have Kushida here, but we want more people to give their expertise so we can basically come to a consensus on how to model correctly. Another important one is the software vendors. Without the software vendors, we can't do anything. So we need their support. We need their expertise on that as well. Another one is the manufacturers. It's something we haven't spent too much time on yet, but it would be something to look into as well in the future. So what do we need from each? I'm not going to go through all of it, and you see a lot of overlap, but we kind of took a step back and defined the needs. Oh, sorry. for each party to kind of put ourselves in their shoes and thinking like, what might they need? How can we connect with them? So for the software vendors, obviously implementation and their feedback is very important. But other asset owners, like Mike mentioned, we need to collect shared topics and create use cases, identify shared requirements, which we actually just discussed with the electrical domain this morning. We want other airports to join. Right now within the airport entities project, it's Schiphol Airport and Vienna Airport. From the surveys, which I will talk about later on in this presentation, we did get a lot of input from other airports, but it's important for everyone to come join us and help us and do this together. We also went through each party and kind of discussed why would they need this. So for the biggest one, of course, is the top one for each one. We need to create one common language so that we can understand each other throughout the whole life cycle. But then specifically, for example, software vendors, we need to look into improving the sharing of geometry, or the other airports, like I said, we want to share knowledge and experiences. I mean, we're all clients, we're all owners, so I think a lot of it will be the same, but I think we can learn from each other and use that to improve the current way of working. And so Auckland Airport actually gave us an simulation. So for the way of using a BIM model, it's important to be identifying the objects so that we can use it for simulations. We can reuse the models. And I don't know how can you click on play? So Auckland Airport created this to kind of show that it's important to have a controlled environment, in the sense of that operators have multiple data sources that could be used to determine the approximate number of passengers moving through spaces at a specific time. And so by visualizing this and analyzing the passenger flow, vehicle flows, baggage flows, just name a few, will really improve the way of working for example, operations within airports. We kind of had the discussion going when we were going through this slide, but you can also use it for fire safety. So what way should people be moving in case of an emergency, in case of a fire? So if we have identified all of the objects correctly, and we can reuse these models, even Schiphol could maybe share a model with Auckland Airport, as long as we have identified all the objects correctly and we're all talking about the same thing. So diving a little bit into the project, the Airport Entities Project, we've been working on it for about 2-3 years now, I think. But the challenge is that at this point there are no clear and consistent schema for airport-specific objects. So data interoperability is quite difficult throughout the whole asset life cycle. And with the Airport Entity Projects, we're really working on creating clear agreements within the airport community. And so that throughout the life cycle, people could work with the necessary parts of the schema. And obviously that should eventually result in reducing redundancies and inconsistencies. And so that's what we've been working on for quite a while. So to give you an example, here are just a few airport objects without a clear IFC mapping. And we think that most of them you could find just at an airport, for example, the de-icing system. But I can imagine, like, we have a passenger bridge, but maybe the ports, the harbors might have some sort of passenger bridge as well. But for now, for airports, they're very specific. We can't work without them, so we included them in our list. We have the automated check-in, we have the automated border control readers, we have the smart security lanes. So these are just a few to give you an idea of objects that are crucial for airports but are not part of the schema right now. So the Airport Entities Working Group, there are 6 of us. Gianluca joined us last year, but these are the people that have been working on the Airport Entities project for the last couple of years. Maya is online, Christoph is online as well, and we already did the introduction, but an important one as well is Carl Fitzpatrick from Auckland Airport. He can't be here because it's kind of a travel for him from New Zealand, but we have weekly meetings every Tuesday where we get together and work on the project and on the process of it. And Carl has been a huge asset among the others on the screen. So kind of looking back, what we have achieved so far, we actually reintroduced the project back in 2020. So we actually didn't start the project. The previous chair of the airport domain, Alex Warp, he actually was the one who started this. But back in 2020, we kind of took a step back, kind of looked what buildingSMART was doing, the progress that it was making, the introduction of the buildingSMART data dictionary. And so we redefined the scope of the project and established a regular working group. So it's the people that you just saw in the previous slides coming together weekly and working on the project. So throughout the years, we started with creating a one-pager to kind of show people what we're doing, why we're doing it, and the importance of the project. We finalized the project proposal. We all came together and created a list of entities that we agreed on. We did receive just a tiny, tiny bit of sponsorship, but everything helps. So that was a very exciting moment. And we created a survey. So the rest of the presentation will go into more detail, but we created the surveys, gather input from around the world, and sorry, my computer is postponing. Are looking into the possibilities of the buildingSMART data dictionary. And so we've actually been able to update or upload one list to the buildingSMART data dictionary that we all agreed on from the input from other companies and specialists around the world as well. So why the Airport Entities Project? I think for most of the people that are working with airports, you probably know that lifecycle management is very important. We have different parties. We have design parties. We have contract parties. We have the maintenance parties, the operations, and then usually it's being rebuilt again. So it's a lot of changes to the airport on a daily basis. So we don't want any more confusion about entities, properties, quantities, and enumerations. Now, for the fact that it's not clear what entities to use, a lot of people will be using the building element proxy, and the next party that might be working on that object will call it something new, creating a lot of confusion. We don't have clear quantity takeoffs, so there's no clear agreements or a set of requirements, and we can't validate the data. So by introducing the Airport Entities Project, we're hoping to kind of diminish this. And then the most important one is to speak the same language throughout all of the phases of the asset lifecycle, and therefore improve the exchange of information and being able to exchange it a lot faster by just having a clear agreement on what we call a specific entity. So without those clear agreements, we are able to take those inconsistencies out. It will be easier to search, filter, and check the models. And obviously now with the development of the IDS within buildingSMART, we're really looking into that as well to be using that in the future. And airport specific assets will be a lot easier to classify and use within your project. So a lot of slides about the importance of the Airport Entities Project. But why start with identifying airport entities? So we really want to ensure that the data can be consistently understood and used to improve the management of airports, including operations, reuse of the data when a new project starts, or when we're building something new. It will be easier to use the objects if they're defined correctly. They're important for all the stakeholders involved to increase the accuracy and reliability across airports. It will be a lot easier and quicker to finish those projects and build a shared understanding across airports worldwide. And we're also looking at how this will benefit future buildingSMART projects. For example, sustainability. It's a huge topic for airports right now. Facility management, fire safety, and like I said, we just had the session with the electrical domain this morning to really see how we can include more requirements from different domains, so that it's going to be a lot easier for all of the different parties to work within an airport. handing it over to Maya. Hopefully we can hear her.
Yep. Hello. Yeah, so basically with the airport entities project working group, as it was mentioned, we meet weekly since August 2020. Since that time, we actually gathered input from different organizations. The list of the organizations, you can see them on the right side of this slide. It's from Auckland Airport, China Aviation University, Finavia, NACO, Royal Haskoning, Schiphol Airport, and Vienna Airport. By gathering this list of different objects, we actually combined them into one. We gathered around 97, around 100, let's say, airport-specific objects by removing all the duplicates. We categorized them into different categories to help us discuss further the IFC mapping. We mapped them to the IFC 4.3 version. And then we actually looked a little bit deeper into the predefined types. In some cases, we used the user-defined types, where we defined our own type, and we added images into most of the objects for better interpretation, and also to be able to discuss with each other and to ensure that we are talking about the same object. In the next slide, what we've done, it was mentioned before from Arisca as well and the rest, that with actually dividing the objects into different categories, we decided that we still need input from specialists. We are not baggage handling system specialists, for example, and we really need to get feedback about the objects, whether we have the correct ones, whether we missed some of them, and also about the IFC mapping. So we created this 5 different surveys: the baggage handling system, the airport-specific security systems and passenger control survey, NAVAID and meteorological equipment, civil airfields and terminal. We got a lot of feedback for each one of them, and we are currently actually focused on the first one, the baggage handling system, where we got 65 responses. You can see the numbers into the different languages. We have already worked most of them. We created a final list with IFC mappings, and we uploaded them in the buildingSMART data dictionary. We have, of course, a lot of things still to do on this particular topic, because we realized that there are way more things that you need to look into, like properties, like different types that we were missing. We discussed already with some specialists, and in the next slides, you will see some of the challenges that we found out. Mike?
Thank you, Maya. So we've been focusing on the baggage handling system, and we are running into some challenges. Especially, we are trying to identify all the properties which belong to all the objects, which is, of course, quite a challenge because there are a lot. We are working on that. We also are facing a challenge that when we focused on baggage handling, we focused on one of the 3 or more systems that currently exist, which is the conveyor system. But actually, there also exists a carrier system and a cart system, or a track system and a cart system. And we will have to, we have to think about how we handle these 3 systems. Are we going to create predefined types for all of them? Are we going to merge it in some way, information-wise? So this is another challenge we'll have to face. Also, we're facing the challenge that a baggage handling system might not be airport-specific, because I imagine Amazon and all these distribution companies, they also have baggage handling systems. So for now, we are defining it in the airport room, but that might change in the future. Maya.
Yeah. we really believe that building smart data dictionary is very crucial for us. Why? Because basically, we believe that we should connect the airport domain with the IFC standard, and that's one way to do it. With building smart data dictionary, we can extend and reuse the IFC standard for the whole aviation industry. We can create standardized exchange requirements, and we have the possibility to distribute the airport-related connected standards from other organizations like IATA and others. And we can use the agreements and the standards on the airport domain for the classification and the enrichment of BIM files with airport-specific objects, which for us is very important to be able to speak the same language, as it was mentioned before from the slide that Arisca presented. So in the next slide, what we've done so far, in 2021, we created the IFC airport domain inside the Building Smart Data Dictionary. We played a little bit around, and we created a pilot in the test environment with 4 airport objects. This was a success at that time. Basically, we tried to show the whole workflow by classifying a model, how you can connect to the Building Smart Data Dictionary, and how you can classify these 4 objects. This was very important for us to understand the whole workflow and to understand the future goal, which is for us to actually add all the different IFC mappings for all the different categories that we created within the Building Smart Data Dictionary. So in 2023, last year, we added the baggage handling system results in the test environment in BSDD. And this year, we are now working on the properties. And also, we are planning to finalize the list of the other categories and also import it in the BSDD.
So to kind of summarize what we've been doing so far is actually what Maya just kind of explained. So to kind of structure our data, we created the 5 different surveys, or the disciplines or groups, whatever you want to call them. We send out the surveys. We got a lot of input from that, where we actually asked the community if they agreed with the naming of the objects, if they agreed with the mapping to IFC, if any objects were missing, and a few other questions, I think. And that's where we are right now. But we're also looking at adding, like Maya just mentioned, to the Building Smart Data Dictionary, which was a success with the IFC extension. And then we're also looking for future projects, or whatever you want to call it, to also start looking into the IDS. So how can we validate our models based on the requirements that will be placed into the Building Smart Data Dictionary from the airport perspective. So what is next for us? The baggage handling system feedback has been processed. We do have to say only for the English. We kind of realized when we got the translations that the answers were also in a different language. So we still have to go through those results. A few of them we were able to translate. For French, we knew that we was yes, so we were able to use those. But that's another step we would have to do to look at the other languages. Maya successfully added it to the Building Smart Data Dictionary, so that was very exciting. We're looking at the properties to be added, or we even need to identify some of the properties still. We have to inventorize the missing entities. So a lot of feedback was objects that were missing. The example actually that Mike showed with the chute, we did have the chute in there, but someone mentioned, hey, you can have a parallel chute or a horizontal chute. So we kind of had the discussion, like, should we be adding them as separate objects or create one object chute with a property set specifically with the direction. So those are the discussions that we are still having based on the feedback that we got from all of the responses to the surveys. We do want to do a final check to validate the baggage handling with the baggage handling specialist. Think of a Van der Lande, the people that are really working with baggage on a daily basis. We're looking to add definitions of the airport-specific objects and clearer images. We do have a lot of images, but just so that we're all sure that we're talking about the same objects. We're in discussion with the buildingSMART International about the governance of the buildingSMART data dictionary, ownership, how to implement the BSDD in software, which is actually happening right now. We're seeing a lot of progress on that part. And obviously we want more people. We want to collaborate, get more people involved. The US is a big one. They're really looking into the airport chapter from the US perspective, and hopefully we can get them more involved with buildingSMART International. Last but not least, funding, very important, so we can move forward quicker. Right now it's all voluntarily, and if one person can't join a meeting, it's difficult to move forward. So by adding funding, we can maybe add a project manager or whatever to kind of move forward a lot quicker. So our future vision is to further develop information standardization. We want to position the buildingSMART airport domain within the aviation industry, get more airports involved. But we're also looking at connecting to international aviation organizations. Maya mentioned IATA, and there's a few more out there that we're really looking into right now, how we can connect with them and also include those requirements within the airport domain. And the last one was mentioned a couple of times, but is connecting and collaborating with the other domains. Kind of going back to the first image that Gerard showed, there are a lot of other domains within an airport. We're a small city. There's a lot of things happening, a lot of projects usually at airports. So it's good to collaborate and kind of see the requirements from the other perspectives. Thank you. That was it for today. Are there any questions? No? I guess it was clear. Perfect. Online, any questions?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very glad to attend this summit. There are so many good ideas and achievements that very impressive during the past 2 days. I think if I could attend this organization earlier, I should have had better communication in English. But today, I have need the help from Ms. Law, my translator, to give the presentation. 我来自广东机场管理集团，主要负责工程建设。非常感谢 buildingSMART 国际委员会组织这次峰会。非常感谢各位志愿者和工作者给我们提供的非常好的这种会议安排。我也借此机会呢，分享一下我们集团在智能建造方面的一些实践和经验。
Well, hello everyone. My name is Mr. Li. I am from the Guangdong Airport Authority. I am the Deputy Director of Engineering and Construction Department. I would like to thank buildingSMART International Committee for providing us such a valuable opportunity. And I would like to thank also the volunteers for making all of this possible. On behalf of Guangdong Airport Authority, I would like to share what we've learned while exploring and implementing intelligent construction.
总共分4个部分，包括简介、白云3期工程的 Open BIM 实践和 BIM 智能建造，以及创新与展望。
My presentation is divided into 4 parts. Introduction of Guangdong Airport Authority, Phase 3 Open BIM Practice of Guangzhou Baiyun International Airport Expansion Project, Phase 3 Intelligent Construction Practice of Guangzhou Baiyun International Airport, intelligent construction collaborative management platform, innovation and prospects and future efforts.
广东机场集团是成立于1993年，经过30年的发展，现在我们正在运行6个机场，其中包括广州白云机场。
30 years since our founding in 1993, Guangdong Airport Authority now manages 6 airports, including the Guangdong Baiyun Airport.
其中白云机场呢是中国大陆地区的3个最大的机场之一，在过去4年的旅客吞吐量居国内第1位。
And Baiyun Airport is one of the 3 major hubs in China, ranking first domestically in passenger traffic for the last 4 consecutive years.
广东机场集团的工程建设已经经历了20多年，总共的项目投资超过了2000亿人民币，获得国家级的奖项有10个。那么目前我们的有建设领域的高级专业人才100余名，其他机场建设人才有200多位。
Guangdong Airport Authority has been engaged in engineering construction management for more than 20 years since the relocation of Baiyun Airport. The total investment of the project exceeds 25 billion euros. They have won 10 national awards, and more than 100 senior skilled professionals have been trained, as well as more than 200 airport construction professionals.
我们现在正在进行白云3期的扩建工程，这个工程的总投资是537个亿人民币，总共要建设2条4亿级的跑道和42.2万平方米的T3航站楼，以及相关的配套工程。建成以后，白云机场总共会拥有5条跑道、2个航站区，航站楼的总面积达到约180万平方米。这个工程是我们中国国内机场在建的最大的改扩建工程，也是我们国内首次全面使用智能建造的大型枢纽建设项目。本期工程建设以后，白云机场的旅客吞吐量有望达到1.2亿人次每年，那么最终可以达到1.4亿人次每年。
We are now expanding the Guangdong Baiyun International Airport. The total investment of the expansion project is 6.7 billion euros. We will be adding 2 new 4E class runways, a 422,000 square meter T3 terminal, and related complementary projects. When completed, Baiyun Airport will have 5 runways, 2 terminals, and a total terminal gross floor area of about 1.8 million square meters. Baiyun Airport Phase 3 expansion project is the largest ongoing reconstruction and expansion project at a Chinese airport, and is also the first large-scale hub construction project in China to fully adopt intelligent construction.
在 BSI 和 BSI 中国分部的帮助下，我们广东机场集团牵头编制了中国民航行业的 BIM 5部标准，引用了 Open BIM， 成为中国民航领域广泛推广 Open BIM 的先驱。在2023年9月份，这些标准已经发布。
Under the guidance of BSI and BSI China chapter, Guangdong Airport has spearheaded the compilation of 5 standards for BIM in the Chinese civil aviation industry. Open BIM has been widely referenced and has become a standard guideline for promoting Open BIM in the Chinese civil aviation sector, and was released in September 2023 for implementation.
白云3期扩建工程全面使用了 Open BIM 的概念，顶层设计是围绕的 Open BIM， 使用了包括 CDE、IFC、OIR 以及 PMI 等重要的这种概念和技术。
Bayun Airport Phase 3 expansion project is a major airport hub project that fully adopts OpenBIM, and the top-level design of the project is centered around OpenBIM. We have achieved robust software synergy with regards to CDE, model integrity thanks to IFC, acquiring an A to Z understanding of construction information based on OIR, PIM, AIR, and FIR related technologies in order to support intelligent construction.
在 CDE 方面，我们搭建了从设计、施工到运维全过程的智能建造协同管理平台，使用同一模型数据源、同一执行标准和同一协同环境，确保各阶段的智能建造工作是有序的开展。
In terms of CDE, we have built a collaborative management platform for intelligent construction covering the whole process from design, construction, to operation and maintenance. We use the same model data source, the same execution standard, and the same collaborative management environment to ensure that all stages of intelligent construction are carried out in an orderly fashion.
在这个过程中，我们是全体的人员，整个生命周期的智能建造都进行了探索和实践。
Exploration and practice of intelligent construction have been carried out by all staff throughout the whole cycle of the life cycle of the Bayun Airport Phase 3 expansion project.
我们基于模型实现了可视化的空间布局优化，对重要的设计接口和设计冲突，以及用传统方法不能避免的设计盲区进行审查，提高了沟通的效率，提升了设计的质量，减少设计变更，节省工程造价。那么再举一个例子，在我们的一个管廊设计过程当中，通过 BIM 的优化，我们减少了管廊面积，节省了造价有3000多万元人民币。
We achieved visualized spatial layout using models, reviewed important design interfaces, major design conflicts, and traditional design blind spots, thus improving communication efficiency, enhancing design quality, and minimizing design changes and reducing costs. For example, through BIM optimization in the design of pipeline corridor, the area of pipeline corridor was reduced by 2,200 square meters. The average height was reduced by 1 meter, and the cost savings were about 3.75 million euros.
我们还利用 BIM 进行了照明模拟分析、风环境模拟分析、车流量模拟分析、飞机航行的模拟分析，以及人员动线模拟分析等。
Lighting, wind environment, traffic flow, aircraft navigation, and personnel movement simulation analysis were done using BIM models, which effectively improved model accuracy and design quality.
我们在3期扩建工程中要求施工单位必须先完成模型以后才能进行施工。那么施工单位在施工前要利用模型进行方案的交底，指导现场的人员充分理解施工方案，确保施工质量。
The Bayun Airport Phase 3 expansion project has fully implemented model-based construction. The building requirements stated that the models must be completed before construction can begin. Prior to construction, the contractors should use models to explain the construction plan, to guide frontline construction workers so that they can fully understand the construction plan and ensure construction quality.
由于这个项目是在表演机场运行的同时进行施工，既要保障机场的运行安全，又要确保施工安全。我们是通过 BIM 技术结合施工方案进行可视化模拟和3维演示，充分分析施工作业活动等对机场运行造成的影响，大大提高了安全性。
Since this project is being carried out while the Bayun Airport is still in operation, it is necessary to ensure both airport operation safety and construction safety. We improved construction management using BIM, and in conjunction with the construction plan, ran visual simulations and 3D visualizations of the impact construction works would have on airport operations, thus greatly enhancing safety.
为了提升施工品质和效率，我们也测试了多种施工机器人和自动施工机械，基于 BIM 进行数字化施工，验证这些工具在质量和投资以及工期方面可能对我们产生的利益。
To enhance construction quality, the project has tested a variety of construction robots and automated construction equipments. Our construction work was digitalized based on BIM, while verifying the potential benefits robots might bring in quality, investment, and schedule control.
我们还使用了3维激光扫描、BIM 加 AR 和视频、影像等多种方法进行综合的质量控制，从多维度多信息来源还原和呈现工程现场与 BIM 模型的区别。
The project used various methods such as 3D LiDAR scanning, BIM plus AR, video imaging, and more to perform comprehensive quality assessment, reflecting the relationship between the construction site and the BIM models from multiple dimensions and information sources.
那么我们在这个项目里呢通过 BIM 模型的计量是与中国国家标准的清单相一致的，实现了计量数据在整个项目生命周期里的连续性、一致性和透明性，更精细地控制工程计量的进度。
Our method of running quantity measurement using BIM models is consistent with Chinese standards, thus achieving measurement data continuity, consistency, and transparency throughout the project lifecycle, and enabling greater control over the quantity measurement process.
我们还利用建造过程中形成的 BIM 模型和建造数据，推进数字孪生机场的建设，构建机场全域数字化的模型，真正能够做到虚拟现实的精准映射，打造智慧运维的机场。我们实施了 5G 智慧机场、无人驾驶、机场机器人等智能场景，将智能建造成果由建设阶段延伸到运维阶段，实现运维阶段业务数字化运行管理。
We use the BIM models and the data collected during construction to build our digital twin system and a digital model of the entire airport, achieving high consistency between the digital and the physical, leading to an airport with intelligent operation and maintenance. We introduced 5G technology, self-driving vehicles, airport robots, and other smart technologies, extending the intelligent construction achievements from the construction stage to the operation and maintenance stages, and fully digitalizing operation and maintenance.
那么在通过这个工程，我们总结起来有5个方面的创新，包括计量，包括数字化施工，包括质量控制，以及平台和数字孪生。
We have 5 main innovations. The first is the BIM measurement based on Chinese standards. Second is BIM based on digital applied construction. Third is adopting multiple quality control and evaluation tools to ensure consistency between the models and the real thing. The fourth is the integral intelligent construction management platform, which reflects OpenBIM's ethos of openness and sharing, building a multi-dimensional intelligent construction synergy management platforms. And the fifth is digital twin and intelligent operation.
智能建造是一个系统工程。广东机场集团组织项目的各个参建方，目前有50多个参建单位进行智能建造的协同工作。我们也联合了国内外优秀的智能建造合作方进行合作，促进形成智能建造的生态圈，实现各方参与、共建和共赢。
Intelligent construction is a systematic undertaking. It is also the highest requirement for an airport construction. Guangdong Airport Authority leads a group of more than 50 collaborating companies to achieve intelligent construction synergy. We also collaborate with international and Chinese intelligent construction partners to promote the establishment of an intelligent construction ecosystem and bring about a win-win situation for all project participants.
在过去的一年，广东机场集团与 buildingSMART 国际总部和中国分部进行了充分的交流。我们还邀请到了 BSI 的主席伊恩和运行总监 Kelly 以及中国分部的未来秘书长来到我们广东机场，双方就机场领域的合作进行了深入的交流。
In the past year, Guangdong Airport Authority was in communication with buildingSMART International Headquarters and the China chapter. We invited Mr. Ian Howell, Chairman of BSI, Mr. Richard Kelly, Director of Operations, and Mr. Lai Wei, Secretary General of buildingSMART China chapter. We invited them to Guangdong Airport, where both parties had in-depth exchanges and discussions on cooperation in the field of airports.
与此同时，我们也和 BSI 中国分部进行了深入的合作，承接了 CNIFC 工作，与建筑、铁路、公路等领域的专家共同推动 CNIFC 的工作。
At the same time, we also had in-depth cooperation with BSI China chapter to undertake the CNIFC work camp. We promoted the CNIFC preparation work with experts in the field of construction, railroads, and highways.
在下一步，我们将借鉴我们国内铁路的同行他们已经加入到了我们这个组织里边。我们也会希望能够与 BSI 和机场组进行充分的交流，促进 Open Beam 在机场行业里边的应用。
As a next step, we will learn from the experience of China Railway Union, actively take part in BSI-related work, communicate with the airport domain, so as to push forward the adoption of Open Beam in our industry.
我们有40个同事已经通过了 Open Beam 1级证书，我们继续深入与 BSI 的合作。
Guangdong Airport Authority participated in the first batch of BSI Open Beam International Certification in China. More than 40 people passed the Open Beam Level 1 certification test. We continue to deepen our cooperation with BSI and work on Open Beam adoption.
下一步，我们也希望得到 BSI 及各位行业同行的关注和支持，也热情地邀请大家来中国交流 Open Beam 在智能建造上的实践，共同推动机场领域建设高质量发展。
We also hope to get the attention and support from BSI and your peers. We also invite you to come to China to discuss the adoption of Open Beam in intelligent construction and promote the high-level development of airport construction.
我刚才注意到前面一位女士的发言里头，在征集有关的回应那个表单里头，来自中国的回应是0。我希望这个情况在我们的合作加强以后能够得到改善。
So,
刚才有一位女士的这个讲演里头有一张表，来自中国的反馈是0。
So in a previous survey, I noticed that on the list, the feedback from China was no. And we would like to improve on that.
好，谢谢。
Thank you.
I've learned from my father and mother not to be envying someone else, to see and think and like what they say, but to be honest. You achieved a very big task, so I must congratulate and compliment you on what you and your organization did, because this is essence of how we want to work together. So it's really a great compliment from our side to what you've achieved in this beautiful airport. Thank you. And to, of course, add to that, we can speak a bit of English, Dutch, but Chinese is not within our competencies. So we'd like to invite you to help us a bit on that. And of course, you're invited to be part of our organization. It's great. And thank you very much for this beautiful presentation and the well interpretation. Thank you very much.
Are there any questions for our guests?
I'd just like to add to what Gerard has just said, is that, and I've had the honour of being out in Guangdong province and be able to see the development that is taking place by Guangdong Airport Authority. And I know that what they have shown us today is taking place for real on the ground out there now. And this holistic view of airport development and airport handover to operations is very refreshing. I think it's very important. So we look forward to welcoming Guangdong Airport Authority into the airport domain because with your insights and the collaboration with the other players who are already in the domain, it's going to be very important for us. And I would just add that although there's nobody on this panel that speaks the Mandarin language, we have just employed an international program coordinator, so somebody who works in my team, a colleague of Laura's, who is fluent in the Chinese language.
Awesome. Thank you. I would like to finish the session with one last remark. As I mentioned, we're really looking into collaborating with more people around the world. So I think here we have a great first step as well. But the US is also working on implementing OpenBIM within the United States. And I actually have an event next week, March 21st to March 22nd, called Follow the Sun. It's a virtual event. I'm pretty sure it's free. And it's really also to work together, share knowledge, and yeah, that's it. So I would encourage you to join, see what they're doing, give them your knowledge and experience and expertise, and we can learn from them. And hopefully in the future, they will be more present at these kind of international events as well, because they're doing really interesting stuff. So there's a QR code. And if there's any questions, please let me or Laura know, and we can help you out. So, thank you again for joining.
Thank you.